And we are back today. I see people coming in from all over. I am so excited to be here, guys. It is a joy. It is truly a joy for us to do this. It's a joy for me to do this. And I just want to say thank you for being here. It really is fun. And I love just seeing you guys comment. So I'm going to bring up Peter and Diana again. Guys, welcome again to the show.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here.
Yes.
We always try not to talk over each other, so sometimes we don't know. They're
I
like
know.
waiting for you to ask them a question.
And there's a delay. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Yep. But yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited for you guys to hear from Diana today. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so awesome, you guys. Yeah.
The best. You know what's the best is getting to share something that I know will help people do be more creative and be happier in their art, because bringing that kind of happiness is what my life is about. I've just I decided that's what I want, is to just make sure people are enjoying this thing to their fullest, and I'm so pleased to bring this today.
Well, Diana, that's so true. You are one of the most joyful people that I know. And I love that that's the intention of your life, is to bring joy, because it's very apparent, right? Everybody who is out there can attest to that.
For sure.
Well, you guys, so you do have an amazing time with Diana that we have scheduled here in a little bit. I'm going to go through a few different things right before we're actually going to give away a prize, and then we'll do the presentation from Diana. She's going to do some teaching and then a full demo for you guys. So it's going to be really amazing. So Diana, thank you. Peter, thank you.
Yep.
We'll
thanks, Jed.
Get started.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you guys, if you are here for the Radiant Acrylic Landscapes Masterclass, you are in the right place, because it is day 2. And I want you to, if you didn't write this down the other day, I just want to remind you, and if you're here new, you missed day 1, write down radiantartchallenge.com, because that's where you're going to find all the information. Like if you're here and you're saying, I don't know where a reference photo is, this is where the reference photo will be. This is where everything will be, supplies, everything. So the other thing I want to ask is, how did painting number 1 go? Just love to get some responses. Chat your answer here. And thanks for saying done, you guys. That's awesome. But was it challenging? Did you learn a ton? Was it surprising? You go like, it went surprisingly well. Did you love it? Okay, cool. I'm seeing a few things. Let's see. Oh man, it's hard. It's going to be hard for me to keep up with the chat. Love painting. Okay, challenging. Better than I thought. A challenge. A bit scary. I really struggled. Challenging. Love doing it. Pretty good. Went well. Somebody said it was challenging, I think, but they had fun. That's awesome. Great. The big brush helped. It was fun. Joy. Awesome. Oh, I had to do it twice. Well, that's good. I mean, it's sometimes, the repetition is like how you actually like learn how to do it. Still going, hey, that's good. That's good. Learned a ton. Love painting rocks. Yeah. I have to say that rocks are a big subject, right? They're all over, right? This is my next question. It's kind of related, but what did you learn through that? I'd love to just see if there was something like, I don't know, being bold was helpful. My mindset mattered a lot. Maybe it was something to do with the brushes. Maybe it's something to do with the color, mixing color. Just if there was something that you learned. Rocks are hard to paint. Yes. Paint the dark first. Okay. Yeah. That was a different maybe a different approach for a lot of you that just have to be spontaneous. Keep trying. What a great one. A good sketch is essential. Oh, that's so helpful. Here's another one. Trust the process. Yeah. To slow down the brush strokes. You know, honestly, there's this thought that I've had quite a few times is, if you want to speed up, slow down. A lot of times we think by fast brush strokes we'll actually paint faster, but a lot of times it's the deliberate, intentional ones that come after a little bit of thought that actually speed up the painting process because you don't make as many mistakes. Okay, dark to light, I can do it with a bigger brush. I learned a lot. I learned that I'm not as bold as I'd like to be. Yeah, there's growth. Don't be scared of the unknown. Big brush makes rocks easier. Here's one. The stay wet palette is a real help. And okay, stop fiddling. Keeping it simple. I love this, guys. This is so fun. Okay, I'm thankful that you guys got something out of it. The whole point of this is that you grow, that you're taking something in, and that you're experiencing growth in this process, right? And I know that sometimes that can feel painful because when your muscles grow, it means they to actually grow, you have to strain them. And that strain means they have to tear. And so when you're building your painting muscles and you're getting stronger and better at this craft, you have to go through some pain in that process. And it's good to know that that's a reality so that you're not, discouraged by that. So I want to share this again with you guys, to speak kindness to yourself first and to others here. We're all in this journey together, and we're doing it as a team. And so, but it starts with you being kind to yourself. And I just want to remind you of that. Again, we're going to be doing some giveaways, and I just want you to know to write down support@acrylicuniversity.com. That's where you're going to email if we call your name, if you get called. And we're going to give away some brushes today. We're going to give away a gift card, another art supply gift card. And I have a special giveaway that we're going to do. We're actually going to do my special one before the demo. And then, Peter, I told you something else, but I'm going to give away the brushes after and the $250 gift card after. But we're going to do my special giveaway before we do the demo. So we kind of just talked about this, but if you experience difficulty in the painting process, just say, yeah, that was me. Whether it was like 10 seconds of difficulty or it felt like the entire painting was difficult, don't be afraid. I just say, yeah, you know what? There were, yep, yes, of course. And, the truth is, if you ask, yes, always a challenge. It was hard. Yeah, my own confidence. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I missed one. Yes, but it was hard to do with the big brush. So one thing that I know, if you talk to me or Diana at any point, pretty much I would say every painting has problems to figure out. One of our friends, Amy Erickson, says every painting is a problem to solve. And it's just part of it, right? And so I wanted to share this with you in case you hadn't seen this before. The stages of the creative process, it's helpful to know what's coming. The first stage is, this is awesome. The second stage is, this is tricky. The third, this is terrible. The fourth, I am terrible. we internalize things a lot in art, don't we? The fifth stage, if you keep going and you don't get stuck, you say, this might be okay. You start to see a glimmer of hope, and it ends with, this is awesome. It really is. The lesson here is that if you keep going, and you know that you're never alone in this process, right? So just keep going, because art is awesome. And you'll start out excited and you'll end up excited if you don't give up in the middle. And that's big picture as well as individual paintings, right? So we're talking about one painting right now, like the painting that we did on Monday. But we're also talking about the process of learning. It's easy to think things are going to be just smooth sailing the whole way, but it's good to go in knowing, look, there's going to be moments that are more difficult because your muscles are straining and you're growing. But that's part of it, and that's how you actually become better. So anyways, just never forget, art is awesome, and never give up. Your 3-day roadmap, we are on day 2 out of 3. Whoops. And wow, I just skipped ahead or something. But we're on day 2. Chat, that's today. And of course, we've also got the celebration on Monday. I just want you to remember that, because that's where we're going to give away the biggest prize and multiple prizes on Monday. And it's a really fun session where Diana and I paint together at the same time. You get to see 2 approaches. And so anyways, don't let that one slip past. Monday we did bold brushwork. Today we're going to do freedom with color. Today Diana is going to be sharing. So get a shout out for Diana, because you're going to love this. You are really, really going to love this. And honestly, it's going to be amazing. And then of course on Friday we're going to do mastering light, because remember, this is 3 days. You're going to learn how to paint glowing light on Friday. But before we jump into today's lesson, I just want you to think about direction. Can we do that for just a minute here? You've probably heard this before, but if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. Right? It's very easy to not really know what you're up to and wander. Honestly, I'm a master in that. Anybody else? Anybody else? But like we said the other day, time is the most valuable asset. You know, it's the one thing that you can never get back. You can invest money in something and you can make more money. You know, you can lose, like an object, and you can get another object. There's a lot of things that you can replace in life, but time is not one of them. And so I want to ask you, in a year from now, where do you want to be in your art? You know, if you just daydream for a second, you thought, yeah, maybe you've never thought about it before, but in a year from now, do I like art? Would I be interested in seeing what I could be in a year from now? Like, chat your answer. Hosting my own show. Oh, wow, look at this. Hosting my own show. Better. Making art. Painting daily. Selling my paintings and my books. To that your painting is giving you purpose. Selling more. To have time. To have confidence. This is funny. LOL, I just want to be alive in a year. I love it. Improved, more confident, better, to have your own style, to be back in the gallery selling, having more satisfaction with my finished pieces. See, what's really great is I'd love to be famous. There you go. I love it. I love it. Better than I am today. Oh, look at this. My friends and family would like to see me back with a paintbrush in my hand. See, okay. Do you see how different all those answers are? I mean, some of them overlap, of course, but they're also very unique to who you are. And I think it's important because I think sometimes we think of art as, oh, it's just for me. It's just something that I like to do. And we diminish things sometimes. But did you see that one answer that said, my friends and my family would love to see me back with a paintbrush in my hand? Art is a gift. And it's actually not just for you. That's one of the reasons we do these masterclasses. We believe that art is a gift. Diane and I, we're sharing something because we want other people to enjoy this, right? It's fun. It's life-giving. And if you have something that you can share with others, which you do, it's a gift. And the friends and family that are around, the people that are in your life, for you to develop yourself, it's actually a gift, not just to yourself, it's a gift to them too. And here's the question I want to ask. If I could promise you that if you follow my plan, hey, I got a plan for you. That's so funny. Oh man. No, but I'm saying like, hey, if I could lay out something for you that and promise you that if you followed it, that you could be wildly happy with your art in 1 year. If I could promise you that, would you commit to the year? But remember, you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. If I could give you a plan and you go, it's going to work, would you commit to it? Right? Would you do it? That's my question. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Okay, absolutely. Yes, I would. I need something to commit to. I know, right? Like that. I think a lot of times we wander because we don't know where to go. Yes. My husband is loving that I'm painting. It's been an inspiration to him in his music. Oh my goodness. That is so good. I would do my best. Is anyone, please, it would give me a reason to keep going. Okay. I love it. Okay. So, because I do have a surprise, you guys. It's a giveaway. And you can chat. I love free stuff. Because don't we all love free stuff? What I'm going to give away, honestly, there's a little twist to this, okay? Meaning it's a good twist. We're going to give away 1 full year membership inside of Acrylic University. And I'm going to explain a little bit about that. But before I do, I would like to see, just like thinking about that. I ask a similar question, but because time is the most valuable asset, can we be intentional for 1 year? And if you're looking at it, you're like, what is the thing that I want most this year? What is the area that I want to grow in? Is it consistency? Is it just general growth or like learning? Is it staying inspired? Is it discovering your style, your voice? Is it, some of you said, like maybe raising the bar on your paintings so that you could sell them easier, right? You can say whatever it is. My voice, okay, growth, general growth, My goal for 2026 is to be intentional in my art and learning what my style is. Inspiration, my voice, and breakthrough. Find my voice, sell more art, inspire people to hope again. Isn't that the truth? I mean, we need hope. People need hope. People need light. People need beauty. Does the world need more beauty or less beauty? Less beauty or more beauty right now? I mean, for real, does it need less beauty or more beauty? It needs more beauty. Being with others to stay committed. All of the above. Growth and my voice, discovering my style, consistency, discovering my style. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I really do love it. So this is what we're giving away. Like, I'm really excited about this, guys, because we've just kind of expanded Acrylic University. Like, if you've been around, you might know a little bit. If you don't know anything, that's cool. But we have a massive amount of like knowledge and learning and stuff that we have shared, and we see so many people just thriving. I mean, I have emails from so many people. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want consistency? Do you want growth? Do you want community? Do you want to feel like you're not alone? Do you want to, be encouraged from seeing other people? Do you want to discover your style? Like, experiment and go like, who am I? Like, are you at the beginning and you really just want to like get the basics, right? You want to figure out like, how do I, mix paint, and how do I do this? Like, I just need to paint consistently. There's a path for everyone. And so let me just explain a little bit. Bloom is a brand new thing that I'm doing. I'm really excited about it. And what it is it's just for simple, consistent growth. If you want to like, honestly, if you want to just copy paintings, just follow me on YouTube. You can copy paintings. That's like the most basic thing. And that's just there on YouTube, right? And I'm just saying, you can do that. You can follow me on YouTube. I'm going to keep putting painting lessons out there, and you can learn how to copy. That's like the first stage in painting, right? It's a copy. What we do in Bloom is the next stage. Is like, we're all about learning, teaching the fundamentals, like teaching you how you can actually experience and grow yourself. So Bloom is, I'm going out, I'm taking videos outside, I'm taking photographs, I'm bringing you into the journey with me, and I'm then like explaining like what I'm looking for outside. Then I'm bringing it back into the studio, and I'm bringing you into the process where I will look at the photos and edit them. And then we're doing a step-by-step. It's just step-by-step, guys. Just step-by-step painting. Very simple, consistent learning. Plus you get a few foundational courses in there. That's Bloom. Consistent, simple, step-by-step. The ultimate membership is, do you want that and a wonderful in-depth workshop with Diana where you'll learn all the like perspective, design? Do you want courses, design, perspective, color? Do you want to discover your voice? Oh, how about having various artists show you what they have done, but you have this process where you get to look at a reference photo and experiment beforehand and learn and grow? What about critiques? That's the ultimate membership. It's like Bloom is consistent, stable, simple. Ultimate is all of the above. It's you want to dive in with everything. Okay. So the reason I want to explain that is because we're giving one of those away, but I need you to shout out right now, because we're going to view it on the chat. We're going to pull it out from the chat. Okay. So I need you, if you want, if you think like to yourself, bloom feels like I just need the consistency. I just need to get in the rhythm. I just need that. Then shout out, I want bloom. All 3 words. I want bloom. If you want to dive in, you're like, I'm all in. I want growth as fast as I can. I want week 1 with Diana. I want week 2 with Jed. I want week 3 with the guest artist. I want to see critiques. I want it all. Then say, I want ultimate. They're 2 separate paths, but I just want to see your chat, and we're going to pull up a winner. See, okay, look at this. I want bloom. I want bloom. I want all. Okay, cool. I want both. I want both. Well, if you get the ultimate, you get bloom. Okay, just to be clear, bloom is bloom. In the ultimate, you get bloom and everything else. Okay, so yeah, say ultimate if you want ultimate. Okay, look at this, guys. So fun. I want bloom. I want ultimate. I want bloom. I want my paintings to bloom. Oh, I missed it. Okay, great. This is great. Okay, so Peter, let's pull it up. I know you're there.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Do you have it on screen?
Yeah, let me pull up the screen real quick. I think this is the right one.
Okay,
all
guys,
right.
we're going to just give you let's just give them another 10 seconds, guys, to chat. And then we're going to pull this up, and it's going to be with did you do hashtag want?
No.
Oh, it'll be okay.
Want. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, you guys, do it right now, and we'll see where people are at. We're going to give this away.
All right, let's draw it. Let's see.
Somebody's going to win. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow.
Lori K.
It's so suspenseful at the end because I keep thinking, oh, it's landing on this one. Then it's like there's one more, and then it lands on the real one.
I know.
Okay, Lori K, congratulations. So here's what you need to do, Lori. Email us at support@Acrylic University right away, and we will get you. We'll just let us know which one you want. You want bloom or do you want the ultimate? And we're going to make sure that you get that. And congratulations. Excited for you. And guys, this is the thing. I'm going to tell you how we just gave away 1 membership right now, right? But on Friday, I'm going to tell you basically how you all can get a free membership, okay? I know that sounds a little weird, but I'm going to explain to you. I mean, I could probably explain it right now because here's the deal. We're going to open up our doors on Friday, but this is how you can get a free membership, okay? You invest $250 in a year of bloom. I'm going to give you 12 lessons, and I'm allowing you in bloom. It's very specific to bloom. I'm allowing you to paint and sell any of those paintings, all of them, right? So I'm basically allowing you to take my compositions, my designs, copy it exactly, and sell it without limitations. Hey, yes, you should say, I didn't come up with this. Yes, absolutely, you cannot put these into competitions or shows and act like it's yours, because that's just a general art rule that you can't do. But I'm telling you, you're going to have 12 paintings that you can turn around and sell. If you can't see that's like crazy. So a year of bloom is a $250 investment in yourself. It's $249 to be specific. But if you sold every painting for $21 a painting, you'll make all your money back. Okay? Get it? you're all gonna, if you want to bloom, you can do that for free. And if you're in the ultimate membership, that is still applies to you. You can take every bloom lesson, sell them. And guys, that's just the beginning of it. You don't want, it's not the way that you want to build your art career, but I'm just telling you that's something that you can do. You want to develop your style. You want to develop your voice. You want to actually be able to go outside. And that's why I'm teaching more than that in bloom. Dude, I'll teach you how to copy a painting on YouTube for free. Other people charge $49 a month for that. I'm not even joking. I'll teach you that on YouTube for free. But if you want to like learn how to go outside, look at an area, like take pictures, photograph them so that you can go into your world and your life and do that. That's what Bloom's about. And then if you want to discover your voice and you want to do that, Ultimate is about that. And I'm telling you, it's virtually a free membership if you understand what I'm saying. Yes, you invest the money up front. That's going to open on Friday, but you're going to have a year where, what are your goals? Where do you want to be in a year? Aim at nothing. You'll hit it every time. Follow us. Stick with me. Dude, I'm going to take you and you're going to grow. I'm not even joking. You're going to grow. So anyways, we're going to jump into this right now, guys, because we have this amazing lesson for you. Diana is going to be sharing about values and color and how if you understand those things and how they work together, you're going to have great freedom in your work. This $250 gift card is going to be given away at the end. So stick with us. Remember, you are courageous. You're creative. This is where you go, guys. Everything you need is at radiantartchallenge.com. We're going to turn it over to Diana, but just remember this. You do not need to paint along. You can just relax. You can relax. You can watch. You can paint it later. For real. And let's just say this one more time. I'm creative. I'm courageous. And let's roll with Diana here. She's got a great thing for us.
Hi, I'm Diana Shine. And today I want to show you some tips, tools, techniques, things you can do with your palette right now today that will give you better freedom with color. Kandinsky says that color can provide a psychic vibration. Color hides a power still unknown but real, which acts on every part of the human body. And we know this to be true when we enter a garden or a grove or a gallery. Color excites us, thrills us, calms us, creates vibrations inside of us that nothing else can do. And so what happens when we go see some masterworks in a museum or a gallery is this happens to me all the time. I look at it and say, I love the color they found, but I just don't see this color with my eyes and my life. I don't experience these colors. How did these artists find this? Well, I'm going to give you a little clue as to how they do it with just some simple techniques. But first of all, we're going to need to start with 4 color basics. Now, many of you are experienced artists and you already know this, but I'm going to put them in order and I'm going to provide you with some tools that'll help you create greater freedom in your color work. But you do need to understand these 4 color basics. So for you experienced artists, this is review. For those of you who've never learned this, well, hang on. This is something new and hopefully we'll be able to unpack this and look at how you can create color freedom. Let's look at the very first color basic, which is simply a word, hue. The word hue means basic color. And for this conversation, we're going to talk about the 6 basic colors that begin our color wheel: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. The 6 basic hues in color mixing. And this word hue is an umbrella word. The word red, for instance, covers a whole range of reds. The word orange too, the word yellow. When we say that word, we create in our minds a concept, but it covers an enormous range of different types of that color. Let's look more closely. This is how I organize my palette in a really simple, limited palette. You can create your 6 basic hues using this limited palette. In acrylic, these are ultramarine blue that I mix with a little bit of phthalo blue-green shade, quinacridone primary red, and cadmium yellow light. To create this color wheel, all I do is mix the colors in between. So to create an orange, I mix the yellow and red. To create green, I mix the yellow and blue right between the yellow and blue in line. And to mix the violet, I mix the red and the blue together in line around this color wheel. These 4 basic pigments create these 6 colors, and I'll show you how you can create every color with just a few simple pigments. I know it's easy to go to the art store and really go crazy buying every single tube of paint, but all you need are the 3 primaries in white to create a better and more easily seen color harmony. But what do you do about all these other colors? What do you do about all the range of colors we can see? Well, let's talk about the second color basic, value. Out of the tube or off the pen, every single color comes in a value. A value means light to dark. Here I've shown a scale from 1 to 9. 1 is white, 9 is black, and then there are increments of different levels of gray in between. And value simply means the lightness or darkness of a color. And we can see that every color has its own particular lightness or darkness. The blues are darker, the yellows are lighter. But let's see what we can do with our paints. Paints can be lightened or darkened to every color. Remember that value range from white to black? Every color we squeeze out of the tube can be lightened with white or darkened with black. How easy is that? There's not much easier to lighten a color or darken a color than that. Here's our third color basic. Temperature. That means the visual warmth or coolness of a color. Warm colors are colors of the sun and fire and heat, the color of a hot plate you don't want to touch. And cool colors are the colors of snow and ice and cold water. It doesn't reflect the actual physical temperature of a thing. It's just the colors that are represented here. When we look at a rainbow, we see that the colors are separated out. That's what a rainbow does. It extracts the different wavelengths of color and separates them out. Warm colors are created from yellow or red or contain yellow or red, and cool colors in the rainbow contain blue. When we're talking about paint, white is also considered a cool color. If we stretch these rainbow colors out in a row, and then we turn that row into a color wheel, we can really see that they are divided. Warm colors on the one side contain yellow or red, and cool colors contain blue. But there are nuances in this. Here are some greens. On the photo on the left, upper left, we can see that those greens contain some warms, some yellows. I took both these photos on a hike on the same day. It isn't about the temperature of the day. It was quite a hot day. It's about the temperature of the color. In the upper left, we can see that those greens contain yellow or red or a combination of yellow and red. They are warm greens. On the right, we can see that the greens contain, as an element of their mixture, white or blue or a combination of white and blue. So if you want to warm up a color with your paint, you'd have some combination of yellow and red. If you want to cool down a color of paint, you'd add some combination of white and blue. How easy is that? And here's the fourth color basic. We're already to the fourth color basic, and it's this: intensity, otherwise known as chroma. When I first started taking art classes many years ago, 40 years ago now, 40 some years, the teacher would throw out the word chroma, and I would nod, pretend like I knew what they were saying, or I'd read an art book and yep, chroma. It just means the brightness or dullness of a color, the intensity of the color. Bright colors are also known as high intensity, high chroma, highly saturated colors. Saturated means how much paint pigment is in the color. Dull colors are called low intensity colors, low chroma. They're also considered muted or grayed, low saturation. You can gray these colors down even further to create tones of gray, beige, brown, or khaki. They all originate from those same 6 highly intense, high, brightly saturated colors, they can be grayed. Let's see how you can do it. So when we start with the colors on our color wheel, these ones right down the center, we'll see that the brightest colors, except for yellow, are mid-value. They're mid-value on the value scale. Let's look at how we can see that. Let's take a look at this grape. It looks really bright. It's filled with light. Sunlight's pouring, actually coming through it. It's translucent. It looks light to me, to my eye. But when I put a value scale up there, I notice that it's mid-value. If I turn this from a color photo to a black and white photo, I can see that really easily. That grape is mid-value. The yellow-green, not so much, because remember I said yellows come out of the tube bright at a lighter value. They're the one exception to this. All bright colors are mid-value rule. Well, it's not really a rule. It's a tool to help us think this through. Another way to get your colors to look brighter is to increase the value contrast around them. Here's a painting by my dear friend, Al Currier. I've turned his painting to black and white, and we're going to bring our attention to the light in the sky and the light in the puddle. And we're noticing that those two values are a number 2 value. The colors are also very bright because they contain yellow. But the colors on the ground in the puddles look a little brighter than the ones in the sky. And the reason for this is that the color in the sky is surrounded by values that don't create a very big contrast. The ones on the ground are surrounded by black or by a value that creates a bigger contrast. The color on the ground looks brighter because it's surrounded by something darker and duller. You can drop the intensity of a color without changing the value. To lower the chroma or intensity of a light color, you add white. And what that does is the white just simply thins out the paint and desaturates it, makes there be less of the color pigment. To change the intensity of a color going dark, you add black, and that lowers the chroma by, again, diluting that color with black. And you can also change the intensity of those brilliant mid-value colors by creating a gray that's also mid-value. And adding it to the mid-value colors, you drop the intensity without changing the value. How easy is this to just think of black, white, and gray as ways to drop the intensity of a color, make it not so bright? Here's another way to do it. It's the way I like to do it in my palette. I tend to make a lot of mud when I'm painting with black. So when I adjust the intensity of a color, I will add drops of the complementary color. So let's take a look. Here's a yellow-green I clipped out of one of my paintings. And when we look at the color wheel, I'm going straight across the color wheel and looking the color directly across from it. That is the complement. So here I'm putting that complementary color next to this yellow-green, but it's really a lot darker. So before I add that pigment, I adjust it with white to be about the same value, so it doesn't change the value. If I were to put a dark pigment into a light pigment, I'm going to darken it. So what I do is add just a couple of little tiny drops of this adjusted red-violet and drop the intensity of my color. I feel like it gives me a more sparkling but lower intensity color than just gray alone. It's said in painting that color gets all the attention, but values do all the work. And I have found this to be true. So let's look at some of the ways that our number 2 color basic really help pull your painting together and do all the work in creating an amazing masterpiece. Tolstoy says that all the beauty of life is made up of light and shadow. Let's see how that works in a painting. First of all, values help create the bones of a painting. This little photo of a cat, I'm going to simplify it so you can see just the darks and lights. And we can see that the dark values and the light values create abstract shapes that will create the underlying undercarriage of the painting, that will create the interest, the compositional impact of the painting that just a cat laying on the floor wouldn't have all by itself, as cute as that kitty might be. Secondly, when we simplify values, those simplified values create the shapes of the composition. I'm turning this little image to black and white and simplifying it and showing how these mid values, the light values, and the small impact of dark values create the overall shapes of the composition that really help the viewer's eye flow through the image. In its most simple form, we can see how your eye flows through the center of the image in these diagonal patterns based on the impact of the light and dark values. The other thing values do is they explain the form of an object. When values pass over an object, we can see that where there are light values, we can reserve our values 1, 2, and 3 for sources of light and objects with direct sunlight on them. Where that object begins to turn, we use mid values. We'll save those values 4, 5, and 6 for our brilliant colors. Remember how bright colors are mid values? We are going to save those mid values for shadows with reflected light in them and for planes that are turning away from the light. So when we're explaining form, mid values explain where the object begins to turn away from the light. And we'll save our dark values, values 7, 8, and 9, for shade, shadows, and anything that doesn't have light shining directly on it. And that will expose the form and how light catches on it and shadows are cast. Values also reveal the time of day and the angle and intensity of the sunlight, even without color. We can see on this building that the time of day has changed. The intensity of sunlight has changed just by the impact of values. We can get a feel for the angle of the sunlight and where the sun is coming from. When we add the emotional impact of color, it really brings everything to life. By staging those values, we create the effect of sunlight. Remember how we looked at how values create form? It's the same way with creating that really brilliant light effect. So we save those values for specific uses. Here I've turned this photo to its simplified form again, just 3 basic values. So we can see values 1, 2, and 3 are reserved for the sun, the sky, and objects that have direct light shining on them. We save values 4, 5, and 6 for things that are really brilliantly colored. Keep an eye on these greens when I put the color back in these photos. Things that are turning away from light to shadow. Look at areas where the light is turning. For instance, right here where shade is turning to light, you'll see some mid-value forms right there. And we save values 7, 8, and 9 for shadow and things that have no light at all on them. When we bring the values back, or we bring the colors back, we can see what an impact those values really had on creating the effect of light. Values reveal the subtleties of shadow and light. Sometimes on a day that isn't really brilliantly lit, we can use values to reveal the beautiful aspects of shadow and light. Take a look here. All these shadows are in mid value. It would be very difficult to see these in full color because sometimes color confuses us. We get so excited by color because it vibrates and creates an emotional impact that it makes it really hard to see things like delicate shadows that are full of reflected light. When you see large value contrasts, a painting like this painting of the Rouen Cathedral by Monet, it's got a large value contrast from white to black. That shows us that there is strong light depicted. In this second painting of the same cathedral, it has a very small contrast between light and dark, and that depicts really soft lighting. We can see this when we bring the color back, the emotional impact, but we can also feel the strength of the light with those large value contrasts and the delicacy of the light with those small value contrasts. Here's another thing values do. If you didn't think that was enough, values can convey distance. Let's look at that idea of value contrast again. A large value contrast, all the way from black to white, can often be seen in the foreground. That value jump from light to dark is largest in the foreground. In the midground, that value jump becomes much smaller. In the background, you have an even smaller value jump, maybe just one value space away. And in the far distance, there is no jump at all or very little noticeable jump. The value jump, meaning the jump between light and dark, gets closer and closer together the farther into the distance you get. Aren't values amazing? So how do we see values? When we see in color, this is a question I get all the time from my students, and it's a valid one. Because color creates such a strong emotional reaction, it's really hard to see the values. So here's what I do when I'm outside on location. I have a red transparency with me, and I just put it between my eyes and what I'm looking at, and it blocks out enough of the color so that I can see values. It also darkens everything up a bit. You have to adjust for that, but it just blocks out enough color that I can understand what the values are doing. If I'm working from a photograph, I can use my photo editing software and just slide the saturation knob down so that I can see the values. And finally, there's a tried and true method, which is to squint. Squinting, really squinting, like looking through your eyelashes, squinting, can block out enough of the detail and color to help you see values. Take a try right now, squint at something and see how much detail is lost. The values show up. So here's a thought. Even if you're looking at ordinary, dull color, you don't have to paint it that way. As the artist, you have the freedom to do something else. We often have these preset, pre-conditioned ideas in our head. Like one of them in my head is that snow is white, that leafless tree branches and trunks are gray, and that evergreen trees are green. And when I look at this little hut, this little wood hut in the snow, my presuppositions are pretty much borne out. This is a photo took around midday. And yes, the branches and trunks are gray. The snow is white. The cast shadow on the snow is basically a grayish color. The evergreens in the back are green. But look what happened when I took this same picture first thing in the morning. All my presupposed ideas are out the window. The snow is coral. The shadows are blue-violet. The trunks of the trees are orange. The shadows on those evergreen trees are violet. The little hut is bright yellow. So you can take this clue from Mother Nature. You don't have to go with what your preconceived ideas are. You can go ahead. You can go bold. What colors do you think belong in this image? What are your presets? My presets say the beach is beige, maybe brown cliffs. The trees are green. There must be some blue in the water. But, whoa, let's take a look at what it really is. This photo I took on Prince Edward Island where the ground is red. It makes the greens so vibrant, and it changes your preset ideas of what colors might be into something more bold. Freedom with color creates a more powerful painting. Here's some black and white photos of some favorite artists. And we can see that through the black and whites, they stayed very true to the values, that number 2, color basic. Every one of these artists stayed quite true to their values. But when we release the color, who knew that there was a bright yellow and turquoise sky, or a brilliant, almost electric blue mountain, or crazy orange and blue clouds, or a green face? When you stay true to the values, you can have freedom with color. You can go crazy with color. You can explore and experiment and have fun doing it. So let's talk about that freedom with color. Number 1, you're safe. You're safe if you experiment with color, but it does take some time behind the brush. So here's some things you need to know about freedom with color. Understand this. This is the key to it all. Correct value is more important than correct color. Number 2, learn how to see the values of colors, either with red transparency or by sliding down the saturation knob or by squinting. learn how to translate that color into a value. And the third thing is to learn how to change the value of your paints. What do you need to do to take a paint that's too dark and lighten it, or a paint that's too light and darken it? How do you change the values of your paints? And the fourth one is use a limited palette like I showed you. Just 3 simple primary colors in white and often black. Use a limited palette. You really can't go wrong. So without any further hindrance to this party, let's go. Let's paint. And I'll show you some quick, easy tips, and I'll show you some things I do with my palette to create colors that give me more freedom with color. Let's paint. Here's our image for today. I have simplified this on Photoshop into just like 4 values and put it in a document sleeve. It's a clear plastic cheapo document sleeve because I'm going to paint a color study right on this black and white. So right now I'm going to mix up my secondary colors. These are my primaries, red, yellow, and blue. And I'm going to mix up my secondaries so I see what I have to work with. Here's red and blue are going to be my purple. And then I have 2 blues. So I'm going to check out my green. I'm going around in a color wheel. This wheel would not run because it's a color triangle. That's a beautiful green. Here's my phthalo and my yellow. Whoa, that's bright. I'm also going to add a little white to my blues so I can see what a lighter value of that blue. This is phthalo. It's a very turquoisey color. And here's my ultramarine. It almost has a blue-violet note when I compare them. I can, if I stick to these values, choose any color at all. I have 2 mid-value tones for my grasses, 2 darker value tones for my trees, 2 light value tones for my sky and mountains, and this little patch right here. So I can decide, do I want to go typical blue sky, or do I want to get a little crazy? And I say, well, the whole point of this is to get a little crazy. So let's start with I'm going to do a couple of these. I might not have time to show you the detail of me doing this, but I'm going to get my number 10 brush out. Color Shaper puts too much paint up there, and I don't want that much paint on here. What I want to do is just figure out what colors I like and don't like, what colors I want to work with. So first of all, I'm going to look at some opposites on the color wheel. Yellow, and the opposite is violet. I'm going to get up here with my yellow. I'm going to have a little bit of those clouds, but they're going to be a darker yellow to a yellow-orange. This is how I make my tertiary colors, just across. Yellow-orange is next to the yellow, and my red-orange will be next to the red. Now I want to see what a violet mountain looks like. I'm mixing my ultramarine and my purple. It barely shows any difference, but I like that. I'm going to try again. This time with no yellow on my brush. Blue-violet. Ooh, I like that. And I see a little of that popping through the tree back here. I want this little line back here to represent maybe water. I'm going to turn it into water, and water reflects the sky. Now that purple. This is my darkest color. I'm going to mix my phthalo and my red and maybe a touch of this green to darken it up, but it's a dark purple. Oh, look at that. A dark blue-violet, more blue. And then maybe a lighter, but not too much lighter, red-violet for the ends, where I see just a slight value change. It's important not to get those leaves in the light too light, or it'll break the tree apart. I think I'm going to try to create a mid-value yellowy beige. So I'm mixing the green I mixed up and my orange and my yellow. A little bit more orange in there. Because I want it to feel like it's reflecting some of that light, but it has to be a little darker. I'm going to mix this green, orange, yellow together and make a brownie yellow color Ooh. That's kind of interesting. And then that back line of trees back here, not quite as dark as the front line, not quite as bright. I'm making them a violet. And I'll get a little bit more blue violet dark in here. Here's one color idea. I haven't put it on my canvas yet, but it's a yellow violet color combination. Quite pretty, but one of the things I'm noticing when I see this is how much in half this tree has cut everything. So I either need to make it taller and shorter or wider, because I don't like it cut right down the middle. This is one of the benefits of having these sleeves, is I can see what I'm doing before I do it on the canvas. I've got another one prepared here. I've speeded the next two studies way up. I'm using a dry erase marker to make whatever changes I want on here. If I don't like it, I can take my finger and wipe it away because it's dry erase. Now I'm going to use this phthalo blue and white to create a really light, that super light value for the sky. I really love this color of phthalo and white. It's so clean and clear. And now I'll use the ultramarine with white because I can get a nice mid value and it looks a little bit purpley. It's a different color than the phthalo. And here's that little bit of water that I feel like is reflecting the sky. I'm mixing my phthalo and ultramarine to create the darkest blue value of the trees. And I'm really kind of liking this monochromatic look of this. Monochromatic means one color, one piece of chroma, but the mid-value trees in the back really look nice and distant. And now I'm going to really ramp up this mid-value for the grasses. And we can see that little bit of a shadow area here. I'll darken these, made them a little too light. Getting the right value on these small studies is just exactly what I want to be doing. Finding where the little holes come through, finding how I'm going to want to create this on my canvas, and just looking to see if I really like this monochromatic color scheme, if it's something that I feel would be beautiful in a painting. And I kind of do. I kind of want to try it. But what if I just put a couple little bits of a warm color? Maybe. Here are my two color value studies together. I've got a complementary scheme and I've got a monochromatic scheme. What do you like? Okay, I thought of one more color scheme that I thought would be really cool, which would be a triad, which means 3 colors equidistant on the color wheel. And in this case, I was thinking green, violet, and orange, the 3 secondary colors. So I'm mixing that phthalo with a little yellow to make a lush green sky. And isn't that different and interesting for my lightest value? And then some little green floating clouds coming through here. I like that. And then that mid-value, I'm thinking a mid-value purple in the grasses, maybe purple and orange together, I don't know. But I'm kind of loving the contrast here. And let's see, what about these trees in the back, purple? I'm just making this up, and it's all just a pile of fun. Here's another purple idea for the back mountains. If I hate any of this stuff, I can always come back and redo. But now I'm going to mix up that orange, my 3-color triad. I'm adding just a touch of black and purple to it to darken it up, because I'm going to use that for my trees. So it's kind of a orange color in the back, purple, orange, dark, mixed with black for the trees. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if I've ever seen trees with that kind of a shadow in them before, but I don't think it matters. We're just trying to create something that holds our values together. So to me, that's really exciting. Here's a some the little green bit that's reflecting the sky, that little bit of water. I put a little bit in the grasses. I'll mingle these, see what I like. Get a couple little cloud areas in here. It feels like some weather might be coming in with this green sky. Maybe a little reflected. I don't know. I'm just messing around here. I think I want just a bit of contrast with maybe some really bright yellow, just as a contrasting color in all of this, and to punch it up a bit. Ooh. Okay, I think that kind of works. Now I'm going to darken the darks a little bit. Try to get that orangey dark color a little bit darker. Get a few holes through there. Give myself some ideas of how I might want to continue if I were to go with a full painting. Here's my 3. This one doesn't have the picture behind it anymore, but I really like all 3. But I really love this one. I think I'm going to try this on my painting. So here I have a 12-inch by 12-inch panel, and I'm going to start with a small brush and just mark where I want things to go. The bottom of the grass, or the bottom of the trees, I mean, right? And then I don't want those trees to go all the way, half and half. So I want that to be a little smaller, this to come out a little bit. There's some holes. There is the spot where I feel like that thing that could be water is back there. So in it goes. The background trees, here's that background hill. I want this just a little different, but there's going to be a few clouds here. And then the grass had a shadowy area up top. And I think I want to extend it a little bit. So the tree is half and half. All right, there's that. I'm going to make a value study right on here. I want to make sure that's not half and half. It kind of needs to scooch over a little bit, get smaller. That's probably enough. Here's a 2-inch brush. I'm dipping the bristles in water so they're really wet, and I'm turning this black into a soupy mess. And I'm covering this drawing. If there's enough water in the black, I will be able to see the drawing through it. If there's not, I've just wasted a bunch of time drawing this out. I can barely see my drawing. It's just a ghost in there, but it's a really simple drawing. While that's still wet, I'm going to wipe back everywhere I want my light areas to go. I'll just take this and wipe it back. Because what I'm doing here is I'm building a value study right on this. And what I want to do is have this black represent my mid value, have the wipe away area represent my lights. I'm going to put back a little darker black that's going to represent darks. Now I'm going to go in for my thicker black, and this is going to represent my dark values. And I think I'm just going to bend the tree over because I want it to feel like it's blowing. This represents my darker values. I'm going to wipe off just a little bit mid-value here in the ground. There's a little bit of a darker mid-value at the edge here, but it's got a ratty edge. And then my trees back here. This is all going to be really dark in here. Really dark, 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 dark back here. But not a straight edge line anywhere here. I think the straightest line is going to be here where the water comes. Just a little bit. Here's these banks of trees, and I'm going to make them go right up over this. And what this is a value study right on my paper. I want to make sure that's not half. It is a very simplified value study, but yet I feel like I could work from this. So I'm going to start this color process by mixing up a bunch of my big colors. Remember, I've got a lot of that light green, a lot of this purpley orange, and then a little bits of all the other colors. So a lot of light green. Gonna take some phthalo and a little cad yellow medium and make a big pile of that light green, nice and light. But I don't want it completely light everywhere. I'm gonna want it to get a little darker as I go up in the sky for some reason. Then the purple orange, I'm gonna mix a bunch of purple. And I'm going to mix a bunch more orange because my color harmony is a triad, purple, orange, and green, but I'm trying to use these colors in an unusual way just to see if this idea really holds up. Then like that. Okay, those are some good colors. There's my light yellow. I don't know if I need to mix up more of that. Wiping off my little painting thing here and mixing up a mid-value light purple, a mid-value red violet. It's just violet. It's just purple with more red in it than blue. Okay. So now I'm taking my number 10 flat and I'm going to start laying in color. In acrylics, you can take this any direction you want. From dark to light, from light to dark, doesn't matter. But what does matter is that you go quickly, relatively quickly. And the reason I'm saying you should go relatively quickly is because the paint dries really fast. And what's nice is if you can get some of your color to mix while it's still wet, to blend up. I'm going to get the sky in there, and I'm going to cover up those sky holes for now and bring them back in a minute. I'm going to get the sky in. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Want it a little bit deeper for that part. And then a little lighter as it comes down. A little lighter and yellower as it comes down. I'm going to come back and thicken this paint up in a minute. And also right now I'll bring some orange and get it to blend into the sky right at the edges there. I think that's going to make it feel a little more like the branches are moving if there's just a softness up there. That bottom edge of the sky is this bright yellow. A really beautiful accent to all of the green, orange, and violet here. Here's that mountain. It comes up a little more here. It's that ultramarine with just a touch of red in it. And I want a little bit of it showing through back over here and back over here. The color of the water reflecting some of that sky. The dark, but not quite as dark tree bank in the back. Let's see, I had it cooler in my color study. Cooler means more blue or white, or a combination of blue and white. That's cooler. So that's too light. Let's try there. There we go. Just a little cooler, a little darker, but not as dark as the shadow areas of the tree. And definitely there's going to be atmospheric haze back there, which is going to have some of the trees almost blending in. Now in the photo they don't, but I kind of want them to. In the photo they're quite a bit darker and crispy edged. And I'm still have not paid attention to the reference photo in color. I haven't even looked at it, because what I really want is to still stay true to the colors I'm working on. A little bit of this orange tipping up. Ooh, I like that. I'm trying to keep the values as close and as true to the values in the study as I can. I'm going to try for a darker black color with my two blues and my red, and that is a purple, and it's going to go way down deep into this shadow. And I like that. That gives it some meat in there, some real dark. And now let's pay a little attention to this foreground plane, which I said was a mid-value purple. So here we go. A mid-value purple. And maybe the shadows are a mid-value purpley orange. We're not quite as dark as the trees anyway. And if I decide I really don't like this color, guess what I can do? I can cover it up. It's acrylics. I can come back in and cover it. If I find out that it's just absolutely the wrong color, I'll just come in and change it. No harm done. And if I decide I want to go with a blue sky and green grass, I can do that, but I don't want to right now. I'm having a lot of fun, and I kind of don't want to go with a blue sky and green grass. I want to create this purple, green, and orange composition. That's kind of beautiful. Sort of looking watery to me. And I don't care at this point if it's grass. I'm going to give it some texture by running my back of my paintbrush through it. And now I'm going to go in for a little bit of a finish, defining some of these edges, defining a little bit more carefully some of the things that are out here. Here's my blue-violet. I think these trees are going to be blue-violet and orange. And I'll switch to a smaller brush in a minute too. That's a number 10. This is a number something. 6. It's a number 6 flat. It has paint on it. I'm thinking about where these little sky holes go, and if they're as light as the surrounding sky, they're not going to look quite right. So I made them a little darker, and then I'll come in, but I'm going to eat a few little holes around the edges of these, just softly. See, now that those are darker, I'll come back in and put a little bit lighter because the leaves are blowing across those areas. Here's my color of the mountain in the back, and then the color of the sky is going to come through too. Now I made these scratches and I'm not going to leave them there. They're going to get covered up. The reason I put them there is it created a little bit of texture on my panel. And that's what I wanted to have. It feels a little bit like water, and I still wanted it to feel like a grassy area. So I went ahead and made some textures on there. A little bit of some kind of teal in here. Bring some of that green down. Ooh, orange. Who would think the purple and teal and orange would look good? But I am really loving these colors. I'm gonna make just a little bit of an orange edge to the top of that hill slope and soften it, because it's going to give it a little bit of a glow while it's still wet. I'm just coming in with a little bit thicker yellow. And putting a little bit of the yellow bit over here. And then I'm seeing foliage. Darker. A little bit of sky. I'm just adding a few more little areas of different color through here, but my main colors for this composition were ones I made up, which were purple, orange, and green. I didn't put the clouds in the sky, but I don't know that it needs it. Get a bunch of color and then just give it a lively little bit of texture. The nice thing about having this arrangement of my colors is that I can go back and recreate any of the colors I made in a second, in just 1 second notice. I've got them all mixed up. By giving it just a little bit more texture, it has the feeling of clouds without chunking it up with clouds, because I like the way it looks. Funny that I said I like the way it looks, and then I just come over and just cover it all up. Whoops. But I do. Well, I have to stop painting now because my time is up, which is probably a good thing because I could just keep painting on this until I've totally wrecked it. So that said, oh, see, I don't like that little mark I just made. That said, I better stop before I wreck it. I really hope that you've enjoyed painting with me this time. And I hope that you have some fun inventing colors, having freedom with color, knowing that if you follow your value scheme, you can put whatever colors you want down. All right, I'm going to come back in with a little bit of thick purple right here. Thick mid-value purple. With a touch of that purpley orange in it. So I want it to come forward and have texture. So I'm using my rubber spatula to bring this area forward, to add extra little flecks of color into it. I'm going to bring some darker marks closer to the bottom. So right now I'm really just playing around in these grasses to see what I like best. And I had purple in here, put an orange in here, and I'm really seeing what I like. And as long as I keep it somewhere along that middle value, I know it'll be okay. Oh, there we go. Some of this yellow orange in here, closer to the area that's closer to the viewer. A little bit of dark in there. I'm still following the value plan within that mid-value value range. So I feel like I can really get in there with my mid-values and have some fun. There's a little bit of a darker mid-value back here. It's not quite as black as inside the trees. I'm really jumping around all over this painting, trying to make dots of color that tie it together, that make it feel like light is happening. Just getting rid of any hard edges I see. Oh, I thought I was done. I stepped away from this for a minute and I realized it does need some of the little clouds to offset. I feel like it needs just a little bit of a...
Hey, Jed, I think your mic is muted. Just letting you know.
Okay. Thank you so much. Guys, I just did a little, I just am interrupting here. There's just a couple minutes left. Diana's just seeing a couple things that she wants to do. And I just wanted to let you know that we'll pull that back up in a minute, but I want to honor your time. And because we said we'd be done at 90 minutes. And so I just want to say, we're going to do the giveaways real quick. And if you want to win, if anybody wants some brushes, this is your chance. We're going to give away a couple, like a pair of brushes again. So right now we'll have Peter bring that up and I'll show you this, but just put a comment in the chat right now that says brushes, anything, and we'll make sure that you'll be eligible to win these brushes, okay? And I'll also move forward here just real quick to talk about the homework that you have. So you can choose this reference photo that Diana's provided or your own. And the whole idea of this, guys, is to be free with the color. And I know that this lesson, I saw your comments there, like amazing. Like Diana's explaining this so well. And I saw a bunch of you be like, this is mind blowing. This is turning my whole world upside down about color. Like I thought I understood stuff. And now I'm like, the whole point of it, guys, is like to have freedom, right? And that's what Diana's explaining so well. So the point of your homework is to paint with that freedom. Like use a black and white photo. Like do it a little bit different. Like think outside the box. Don't necessarily just copy what you see, but do something like Diana's doing in this, where you're using your imagination. You're getting a little bit of that. So, anyways, Peter, do you want to pull up the prize thing? There we go. Okay, let's see who's going to win these brushes. And I have no idea who it's going to be. We're going to think it's somebody, and it's going to be the next person. Oh my goodness. All right. Sherry or Sharita. I don't know where the line is there. If that's you, email us at support@acrylicuniversity.com. Then I just want to go through this real quick, guys. The third day is Friday. We're going to open the doors to our membership. Remember, Bloom, the ultimate membership, are going to open the doors Friday. Oh, look, I said be here live Wednesday. Nope. I mean, be here live Friday. That's going to be important. And of course, then on Monday, we have our celebration, guys. So now it's time for the other giveaway. So we'll just run back-to-back giveaways here. And that way, for those of you who want to stay and watch the last few minutes, there's about 5 minutes left of this demo. You're very welcome to stay, and then we'll do our Q&A, and you can ask any question of Diana. She'll be back here with us. But let's do this. Comment again, and we'll run this right now. Peter, you want to? Yes, there we go. Thank you, Peter. See, Peter's behind the scenes making everything work. It's the best. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Wait a second. Maria Lloyd, amazing. I'm just having this flashback. Did she win on Monday? Did she win brushes or something the other day? I don't know, but anyways, congratulations, Maria. If you won back-to-back prizes, that's amazing. I don't think you won the gift card on Monday. So anyways, congratulations, Maria. And okay, guys. Let's roll with the rest of the video, Peter, and then we'll do the Q&A. Okay.
Bit of clouds, and I'm using my finger to soften it because I don't want it to be much. Just a movement over there, just a little bit. Soft. The other thing is I don't like these. They're too much the same. Somebody's got to change. And I think it's this one. Just make that bigger. Take this one away, or make it the tiniest little bit. Have this one come up a little. Just to change it out so it's not all exactly alike. And that mountain dried a little dark. I stepped away for 5 minutes, and I'm coming back just because the mountain dried just a touch dark, and I want it lighter. So I'm lightening up my mountain color a little bit. And I want to soften that edge. Oh, look what I did. A little bit, one more tree hole here, and then I'm probably finished. A little bit of light in that, and then a smaller little bit of hole through there. I like that. Tiny touch more light here. It goes back behind and it implies atmosphere. That's just a little too light. I went one step too far. Lighter, just a little bit lighter. Oh, that looks kind of atmospheric now. So one of my things is I can come back to this anytime, and because it's acrylics, it doesn't have a time limit. I just need to wait for it to dry, and then I can come back, add, subtract, fix, change, whatever I want to do. But the bones of this are here. The color harmony is here, and that's what I'm really loving. Now I think I'm done. Here are the 3 color studies that I did on the clear plastic sleeves. I really liked all of them, and I think I'll paint the other 2. This is the final painting I did from the 3rd color study. I really enjoyed it, and I hope after you watch this video, you'll make up some of your own color harmonies and try painting them as well.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. That was so wonderful.
Thank you. Well, I keep saying, it's so funny. I keep saying, I'm done now. And then 15 minutes later, oh, I guess I wasn't.
It actually scared me one time because you said it and I was like, oh, I'd stepped like 5 feet over there, and then I I gotta get back, and then I'm like, oh, there's actually a little bit of time left.
Yeah,
but
right.
I understand.
I think I need to put a big sign over my painting station. Never say you're done until you're done.
Oh, I'm the same way. I've done that so many times, and it's easy. I'm sure that there's 1,000 people out there that are saying, I know exactly what that's like. You think you're done, and then you come back and you're like, oh, wait, maybe a little bit here. Oh, my goodness. Guys, time for Q&A. So if you got a question for Diana, now is your chance. And Peter will be here to help us make sure that we catch them. But wasn't that amazing, guys? I also want you to just say, hey, thank you, Diana. That was a very enjoyable and informative lesson, guys. I know that for me, Diana has taught me so many things. I mean, even just, I don't know if you noticed the way that she has her color on her palette. And that to me was a mind expanding thing that made so much sense and wonderful. So thank you. Yeah, look at that. Everybody's saying thank you. So fun. Okay, when do you know when to stop for good?
Okay, that is the best question. I told someone it was the $1 million question, because we all get to a point where we're loving our painting and we think just a couple more brush strokes and then we wreck it, or 1,000 more brush strokes and it's wrecked. So that there's a rule of thumb that I use, which is I sort of set my goal at the beginning. I want this loose. I want this colorful. I want these 3 colors to predominate. And when I hit that target, even if there's a lot more stuff to get done to make it photographic or whatever, I make myself stop and step back. And I did that in this one too. I stopped the video, I stopped everything, stepped back and waited, rested my eyes. And then I did like 2 or 3 more things that I felt were bothering me. But to make yourself stop and force yourself to step back for a minute, even if you just get a drink of water, just to look, because a lot of times we go down this rabbit hole of finishing. And that's why I used a really simplified study, a really simplified reference photo, because you couldn't like copy every leaf on the tree because there weren't any. So we could stop, there could be a stopping point. And I might have, I think I liked those little studies on the plastic sleeves even better. And because I just did them, like 5 minutes in and out, just got that color idea down. And they're wonderful. I'm putting them in I have a notebook of ideas, and those have little punch holes in them. The sleeves have little punch holes, and I'll put those right in a notebook for future reference, because I don't know about you. I'm getting older. I forget stuff a lot.
Yeah.
So if I just open that and I go, oh yeah, those colors. Yes.
So that's kind of answering this question. You're kind of saying you don't get the paint off the plastic sleeve. You just keep the plastic sleeve and use and keep it as a reference.
I do. You can either slip the photocopy of the reference photo right inside, or put a piece of white paper in there so you can see the colors. But yeah, they have punch holes for a notebook, and I have notebooks full of that stuff.
How often do you change your brushes?
That's a good question. I painted a lot with my big brush. I probably went down to a number 10 for most of the painting. So I go from big shapes and big ideas to smaller shapes and smaller ideas. And then if you noticed, I finished up with a 1-inch color shaper. So, really the changing was just to sort of accommodate the shapes I was doing. Well, Jed, you did most of your painting on Monday with that big brush, and then you switched down just a little bit so you could use the corner of your brush to hit some little spots, right? It's just accommodate the size of shapes you're using.
And do you use different brushes for different colors?
No, I have a wad of blue shop towel in my hand, and I just wipe the brush off, just kind of between. You can't even see me do it. It's so fast. I just do, fast. Yeah. Like a ninja. It just wipes it off the surface of the brush.
And how often do you do that?
Whenever I don't want the color that's on it to mess up the color I'm putting next. A lot of times I want the color that's on it to speak to the color that I'm putting down, to mingle with it. Otherwise you have like just these patches of unrelated color. And I noticed that too. A lot of times your brush contains a note of the last color, because all the colors then network and tie into each other. And it's really beautiful that way.
For sure. Part of the beauty of using a limited palette and kind of making them all out of the same mixes, it's wonderful. So what size of canvas was that?
Oh, here we go. It is a 12-inch square. I don't know if you can see it. I hung it up here.
Okay.
So you see it done.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you could have used.
And somebody asked, that was. Oh, okay. Yeah. But 12 by 12 is what it was, guys. And if you want just any kind of square, or like Diana said, you could make it a rectangle, just extend the foreground or, the side or something like that. Right. You can crop it a little bit different.
You can stretch it. I mean, with this image, you could totally stretch it out and just make the areas longer, or stretch it up and make the sky bigger. I mean, it doesn't matter. This is just you being creative. So,
And the answer to
Oh, sorry, Jed.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
No.
I was just going to answer this question. This question is, yes, you can rewatch this later. Like if you watch through and you're like, there's so much information, I want to go back to that. Just click on this link again, or even at the end of this, when we say we're done, you can just rewind the little thing and it'll take you back to the beginning. You could rewatch it right away. Okay, why did you choose carbon black rather than Mars black? Did you?
I think I have. I mean, I just have a generic cheap black, like the cheapest black I can get my hands on, which might have been at the time Artist Loft or something, because it was just for that underlayer. I didn't care. And it doesn't, for what I did with it, it totally didn't matter. It was just to make a black wash underneath.
Yeah. Do you always limit your palette?
I do. I don't always limit it to the colors that I chose today. I will select the colors based on, what I want my image to end up like. So sometimes I'll choose all bright colors, or I'll choose all muted colors, or I'll mix. I did a painting for February's workshop. Can I show you a little preview?
Sure, yeah.
It's just a simple little still life. Here it is. And I used warm red and a cool red. So I used two bright reds, one warm, one cool, so that the cherries would still be bright. So I'll often use two blues or two reds or two yellows, but the whole idea is to limit it. I used to use 20 colors, and then you get mud. Yeah.
Do you use high flow medium to extend drying time, or how do you keep it workable?
I live in the Northwest and the air is damp. So that helps. And my skin is cool and, in temperature, and that helps. So I don't use anything. If I'm outside in the hot sun, I will use a slow dry extender or slow dry white, because it mixes in with my colors. And the Masterson Stay Wet acrylic palette, the Masterson Stay Wet palette.
Perfect. What about the color shaper / spatula?
I have used one of those for like 20 some years. It's just a little spatula with a straight edge. You can get it at the art store next to the brushes, or online, you can just go to the brush section and look for, I think they're called color shapers or spatchers, or there's a bunch of different names, but they're just like a rubber spatula. I even use a spatula I got from the dollar store sometimes. So it's not a precision tool. It's just something that I found works for me instead of a palette knife. And if you find palette knives easier, use them.
What do you look for in your composition to decide how to place or size objects in your painting? Ooh, that's a good question.
It's an excellent question. Well, the number one thing is I don't want to divide my canvas in equal halves, either vertically or horizontally, and I don't want there to be equal amounts of weight. So if I have a big glob of something dark, I'm going to need a little glob of something dark to balance it. You have to look at how the weights are doing. Cutting up the big shapes is the main thing. And there's so much about composition that my mind is twirling, and yours will too. I'll start talking.
Yeah.
But those first lines of dividing up the canvas are really essential to me. How about you, Jed? What are you looking for?
Oh man, it's such a good question, because composition matters so much to the way that a painting actually works. Diana and I have talked about this so many times, and I've talked with a lot of other artists too. There's really no more important thing than the design.
Yep.
Like you could have great colors, you could have interesting brush strokes, you can have even a wonderful subject. But if the design of the painting is not good, the painting will not be good.
It won't
And
be good.
yeah, and so and that's also the difference. Like we've talked about how, you know, the difference between a good painting and a prize-winning painting. You know, the difference between good and great often is just it's a better composition. It's just a little bit, you know, more dynamic or more interesting. And so it is like probably the most important question to be asking, but it's hard to answer something in a minute, you know,
Right.
on in a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say that Diane has a wonderful course
Mm-hmm.
on design,
It's
and
hours long.
and yeah, it's hours long. That's why it's like hard to answer it in like, you know, a minute. But
Right.
if you're interested, it is inside of the Ultimate membership, and it's just a wonderful course, and it gives you a lot of those nuggets to think about as you're trying to create a painting from a subject that's in front of you. So yeah.
And
Okay.
putting something together. I mean, think of a room in your house and you have a bunch of furniture and you throw all the furniture in the room and some was tipped over and some's in the way. You can't physically walk through the room. And a painting's kind of that way. You have to find a path for the eye and make some comfortable spots and make it feel like a logical world inside that rectangle. So that's it.
Yeah. That's a good way of thinking about it. You can't just throw everything in there and hope that it works. You have to think about it. Okay, this is a good question, just related specifically to the Masterson, but can you talk about what you do with your shop towels instead of the sponge?
Yeah. I found out early on that I didn't like the sponge for a number of reasons. I didn't like the pressure that I had to use on it. It felt too squishy and it didn't keep my palette paper wet enough. And so I used 3 slices of the blue shop towel, folded in half. It fits exactly in the 12 by 16 pan. And then I put the piece of Stay Wet palette paper on top of that and then fill the pan with water and let it sit for 5-10 minutes or overnight, whatever. And then use a squeegee, a rubber squeegee, to just meld the paper and the Masterson Stay Wet palette paper together. So they're like one thing. And then they last for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I can throw away the paper towel if it starts to get icky or dried out, or I can just re-wet it and it just absorbs water right back. So
it really is the easiest way to deal with it because eventually those sponges they wear out. I mean, eventually. So you're either going to get more sponges or just like you got shop towels all over, you know, I mean, you can get them easily. It's inexpensive and they're wonderful.
Yep.
Okay. Would you rather paint on a canvas panel or a stretched canvas?
Well, for me, it depends on the size. A large painting is a stretched canvas. It's just easier to deal with. I typically paint either on these panels that are called cradled hardboard. They have a little thing on them and they easily pop into a frame because they're the right size. Or I paint on if I'm doing a lot of paintings, like I just finished 52 little miniature 6 inches. They were on a flat piece of plywood, just because then they can stack. You can just store them. Don't take up any.
Okay. What type of brushes do you use?
Jed, you and I use 2 different kinds, and I'll find mine because I forgot.
I use Princeton Aspens. They're made by they're made by Princeton, but the like brush brand is Aspen, and I use all flats from the size like 4 would be the smallest up to my size 20, which is the big.
And I recently switched mine because I could no longer find the kind I liked. But now I use this Silver White brand. It's pretty easy to find. with the flat tip in all different widths of tips from tiny to big wide. They're relatively economical. They keep their tip, if you care for them, they keep their tip nicely. They don't fray out easily. So I like these ones.
I just wanted to share this. Cindy says, I love the eye-opening lesson about value. Wow. And then I have this other one. And she says a few things at the top, but she says, I never understood values, which I so need, and you made the info connect in my mind. And then somebody else said, values have been my biggest challenge, but this really helps.
I think everyone struggles with values because it's not something that is sort of natural for us to pay attention to. In our day-to-day lives, we pay attention to things, objects, and we're manipulating objects all the time. And it doesn't matter if that object is dark or light, or half dark and half light. But when we're painting, we really have to pay attention to it. And if you rerun that tutorial, it's the bones of your composition. It's everything. So it's really important that we learn how to see those values. Like squint.
Okay, this is an interesting. Let me see. Can you ever get to a place where you act intuitive rather than I'm not sure what that word means.
My guess is analytic. I think they tried to say analytic.
Analytic. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, I'll answer first because I think every artist has a different answer for this, but Jed has a good answer too. And I'll tell you this, when I get into a place that the cognitive theorists call the flow state, which is just simply you're responding to impulses from your heart, and you just sort of know what you're doing and you just know what you want to do next. That does happen. And it happens when you are intentional about it happening, and there's a whole way of getting there, but it doesn't happen all the time, especially when you're feeling bad about yourself, when you're feeling like you can't do it, when you are feeling like someone's peering over your shoulder or going to judge you. That it doesn't happen. When you feel like you're just you alone with your painting, sometimes you click into that state, and it's where the best paintings happen. How about you, Jed? What's your response?
I can't remember that question. I see this question here. It says, do you cover these things in your classes? And then I also see this question right here, which says, oh, where did it go? It said something about, what are the essential brushes to have? Okay, so I don't know why I connected those in my mind. They were right next to each other in the chat. Do you cover these things in your classes? Yes, everything that, this is a small snapshot of things that get covered in classes. Like if you are in a workshop with Diana, and you could verify this with the people who have been part of Acrylic University, there's thousands of them, and they will testify that Diana's workshops are incredible. She puts a ton of time and energy into them, and she goes into great depth. That's part of the Ultimate membership. Mm-hmm. The Bloom membership is where it's also part of the Ultimate, but you could just select that. But we're sharing everything that is helpful. And the reason I pulled up that thing about the brushes is because the way that we teach primarily, me and Diana, is we're going to help you simplify. That's everything right. That I do is I only use flat brushes. I don't get big fan brushes. I don't get big mop brushes. I'm not going to have 28 different brushes. Neither is Diana that you have to get. We'll have a few brushes, and Diana will have a shaper tool, and it's like paper towels, water, spray bottle, the essential things that you actually need to learn. A lot of things are gimmicks. A lot of things are very unnecessary and actually distractions from helping you grow in your skill and learning and things like that. And so what we're going to teach you in everything that we do is going to be like very practical to apply to your own efforts, your own growing, and your own visual like world of, I'm an artist, I'm looking at my world around me, I'm creating my own artwork. That's the goal, is for you to become the artist that you can be. Nobody else can be you. You can't be me, I can't be Diana, but nobody can be you. And we don't want to just give you tools like follow this trick, or you watch some videos on YouTube and it's like, I laid out 3 colors and then I dragged my brush across that, and then it's like, okay, it's kind of turned out, but it's not going to actually help you in your own world, like create a piece of unique art for yourself. Mm-hmm. What we're going to give you is the actual tools that you can learn, so that then you can go, oh, cool. Like, I took this picture on vacation. It was really cool. I want to paint it now. Oh, I know how to do it. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love this question. I absolutely love this question. My husband and I were just talking about it today, because life throws us limitations, and some of the most creative work comes when we work within our limitations. And I had a student who had palsy, and she used to paint incredible photorealistic paintings. They were just delicious and beautiful and perfect. And she was so unhappy and frustrated because she had palsy. And so I showed her a bunch of impressionist work and said, why not just let the shaking hand direct you? Why not work with it and let it be part of your tool? And I said, you don't have to. We can maybe problem solve something else. But what happened was she went ahead and let that movement, she still stayed true to the shapes and forms, but she let that movement help. And her paintings were wonderful. And she was able to let, where she was with her body right now, help create a style for who she was right now. And I was so, I was just nearly in tears when we saw the painting, when she stopped fighting it and just said, let's see what we can do with it.
Isn't it kind of true that every weakness is actually a strength? Mm-hmm. If you have the eyes to see it, right? And right. A lot of you probably feel certain ways. I don't know. Do you ever feel inadequate? Do you ever feel a certain way that if you think of it the wrong way, it's going to hold you back? And you might say, I'm just not artistic. I'm not worth investing in myself. Other people are gifted, or whatever it is, or my hands shake too much. I don't understand color enough. I know an artist I have his book right here. He's colorblind. He paints with his brother. What? His brother tells him what colors he's seeing. It's your limitations are not actually limitations. They're a doorway that you can walk through to discover like this brand new world. And it can be part of what makes you unique in your art.
Yep. Oh, someone said, show me your shaper tool. And I am going to.
Okay, I'll answer this real quick if I can. With the AU lifetime membership, do you get any sort of one-on-one access to address specific questions? Well, yeah, you do actually. With the lifetime membership, one of the things that we do is you get it's not a one-on-one call. It's a small group call, an onboarding session with me that if you have, that's a big part of it, is like, it's just like you have any questions at all, you get to ask me directly right there. In a workshop, and we do live sessions, there's a place to ask questions. There's just like we're doing right now. So there's plenty of opportunities if you have like a specific question that you want to have answered. But yes, that lifetime that's a specific thing that happens just for lifetime members. Okay. Okay, Diana, let's answer your question. You had something that you want to get. Okay.
People wanted to see my color shaper. This is my dollar store one, $1.25. It has a nice little notch here for doing small things, and it can do some nice wide wipes, and I can mix paint with it. This is my 25-year-old one. You can see I no longer see what the brand name is on it. It's been used and it's still usable. This one is a Catalyst painting blade. Same thing, about an inch. It's about 7 years old. Also can no longer read, but it still works great. They last a lot longer than brushes. My dollar store one's about 5 years old too. So
I love how it's like every part of it is covered with paint, except for the very end of it. It's like, yeah.
It's a mess.
It's so great. Okay. This question is from Brian. It says, is there info on Bloom on the website now, or do we have to wait until Monday? It's almost ready for you to look at. There, I could send you to a web page, but we're not quite ready to have you look at it. So I'm not going to share it with you, but we will share it via email and everything like that on Friday for sure. And we'll share everything during the live stream. So make sure you come back. It's going to be great, you guys. And I just saw another question also about the Ultimate membership, asking how much is it. So the Bloom for a year, $249. For Ultimate membership for a year, $549. It's a win-win situation. You just decide where you at. One might be like, how much do you want to, how much time do you want to be invested? If you've got a little bit more time, maybe a little bit more drive, maybe a little bit further along, you want to develop that style, you want to get more input, you want to grow faster, go with Ultimate. You want to have that, hey, I just want the steady, I want the foundations, I want simple, I want consistent, go with Bloom. If you're in the middle, honestly, this is what I'd say. If you're in the middle, you don't know, go to Bloom. You can always upgrade. You can always make the decision to, get into the Ultimate membership later, but it would be probably better to just start in Bloom and see if you want the next step earlier than you might have thought, right? Okay, and lifetime membership is 4 payments of $349. I think that's right. I think that's right. Or you can make one payment, and I think it's, but you'd have to reach out to customer support. But yeah, it's okay. How long is the Bloom course? Well, it's a monthly thing, right? So there's actually inside of Bloom there's a acrylic painting for total beginners. That's one course. Then there's Acrylic 101, that's a second course. And then there's Color 101, that's the third course. Then there's the Bloom monthly lessons that I'm doing. So we're just starting this. We have one. It just came out this month in January. And in February, I'll be releasing another one. In March, there'll be another one, right? So there's a growing, it'll grow every month. You'll get a new one of those lessons, but you immediately have access to the courses that are already in there. And there's probably 50, 60 lessons in those courses to go through. If you choose, you don't have to go through all those lessons, but they're immediately.
Mm-hmm. Someone was mentioning that can they buy Bloom if they're already an Ultimate member? And I think it's going to come with your Ultimate membership. Am I right?
Yeah,
You don't
Bloom is
have to
part of your
buy-
ultimate membership.
Yeah,
Bloom
you'll
is
get
part
it.
of
It
your
just- yeah. Jed just has to
Yeah.
finish making the videos.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I mean, and there's like, so if seasons change for you and you're like, you know what, I was, you know, had more time, but I had to go back to work, or, you know, like something changed and you're at a different place in life and you're like, I think all I need right now is the Bloom membership. Yeah, of course you can, it'd probably be best to just contact us at customer support and we'll make that change for you. Although Peter might have set it up, he could probably respond. You might just be able to purchase the Bloom membership and it'll automatically cancel your ultimate membership. I'm not sure, but it is all included. Like, so ultimately, that's funny. The ultimate membership it has Bloom inside of it. I just want to make that extra clear. It's inside of it, and so is Discover Your Voice with guest artists. So are all the replays. So is Diana's workshop at the beginning of the month based on the theme of the month. So is the critique session. So the amount of value in the ultimate membership is very, very high.
It's huge.
Very high. Yeah.
There's so
it's
many.
very-
You'll never get through all those lessons in a lifetime, I think. Because even I've done a few courses and they're really, you know, I put a lot of work into them and they're very thorough. You will learn so much in each course, and there's so many courses. So there's just so much value in ultimate.
Yeah. D. Miller says, I am a lifetime member and I have yet to have any questions the courses don't cover. So much information. Yeah. So that's inside the ultimate membership. If you know, somebody had asked a question like about questions, like, will I get my questions answered? Pretty much we have systematically looked every like all the time. We're always like, is there a gap? Is there something that we don't have? For instance, we're just adding a drawing course in the next couple months to our membership. It was like maybe the last piece that there might be another one, but we're continually working to say, oh, you know what? We don't, there's this one tiny little thing that we don't have. Okay, let's create the drawing course. You know, if you feel like drawing is something that you struggle with, well, like, I don't know, probably next month it's going to be in there, and you'll have like a full introduction to drawing, you know, thing.
And our themes too, like our monthly themes. In March, we're doing a new theme, which is interiors. We've, you know, focused a lot on landscapes, but in March, we're going to focus on interiors for a month. And then further on in the year, I think there's going to be a focus for the month on portraits. So every year, every month, and every year, we're trying to see what the questions people ask, what they want, and we try within the scope of our year to really deliver to you what you've asked for. And so I think that is really, you know, if you're an ultimate member, you get to go back and revisit all those themes too.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Honestly, if you ever are thinking, what about this? If you're a member, if you're an ultimate member, you also have the access to all the old lessons that are there. And there's like literally probably 700 lessons, 800 lessons. I don't know. It's an incredible amount. So you could go back and we might not have covered it last year, but it might be 2 years ago that Diana did a workshop on the exact theme that you wanted. There's a guest artist who did a demo on it, and I taught something about it. So it's like, oh, okay, there's actually going to be so much in there. Hey, I just saw this question, or it came in a long time ago, but I thought I'd ask it because I thought it was kind of interesting. John says, do you ever play with the cyan, magenta, and yellow color wheel? I don't know if he's referring to a color wheel, but I think in terms of paint, do they make those in paint?
Yes. Yeah, they do.
They do.
I think Golden has those 3 specific ones for that, you know, that color learning, a basic cyan, a basic magenta, and a basic yellow. I think they have it, and white.
That's kind of cool.
fool around with it and see what you can get. You know, I
Yeah.
just fool around with color all the time because I love it.
So one thing I would say, John, is that if you find those golden colors, and they are cyan, magenta, and yellow, the pigment is probably going to be a mixture of a couple of pigments. You know, it might be phthalo blue and ultramarine blue, or it might be phthalo blue and cerulean blue, or something like that. Or it might just be, they called it cyan, but it's just phthalo blue, right? But so there's a whole thing about naming inside like different companies and different things, but they're probably just looking and saying like, how close can we get to the ink, you know, cyan, magenta, and blue, or and yellow, and seeing what they can do. But what is interesting about paint is that paint they do mix. I feel like, oh man, the way that paints mix, it's different sometimes than you think. It doesn't always do exactly what you're thinking. So the best thing is just to get the colors, and like Diana said, just start experimenting.
Right.
And yeah, I've never gotten those colors, although I do think one time I got a mix that was primary red, primary yellow, and primary blue, and it was trying to do kind of the same thing. Okay, Peter, do you see any more questions? I switched over to starred things, so
I've been answering a bunch of questions, mainly about the membership and stuff. It is 1:16 though, so we can wrap it up if we want to.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, you guys, it's been so fun. And like we said, for anyone on the fence for joining, Julie says, I've been following AU for a few years and became a member over a year ago. My experience has been amazing with all I've learned. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah.
And honestly, you guys, one of the greatest things about Acrylic University, and this goes for Bloom and for the Ultimate membership, is you get the community. And the community of Acrylic University is really the heartbeat of Acrylic University. Yeah. We love each other. We care about each other. We're family. And when you get inside, you'll realize, oh yeah, like these people actually do care about each other. Yeah. And so like we always say, like, people come for the lessons and they stay for the community. It's just kind of the way it is. Like, yeah. But the community is, you will love like having a community to go through life together. Because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes people don't get us as artists, right? It's like, huh? You do what? Like, you're like, yeah, I'm really passionate about this thing. People are like, you know, but we get each other. We're like, yeah, we're the same. Like, you are me, I'm you. Let's do this together. Like, let's run this together. So, you guys, thank you for joining us. We will wrap up now, and come back Friday. We're gonna open the doors. We're gonna have an amazing lesson. I'm just bragging, man. I'm gonna teach you guys about light. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
yeah,
and a master of light. He's the greatest. So yeah,
he really is.
Your socks will be blown off on Friday's lesson.
Oh man, yeah,
so
yes.
Don't wear any. You know,
and we will
situations. Don't wear socks, otherwise they'll be blown off.
yeah, and we will. We're gonna talk about Bloom and the Ultimate membership. We're gonna go in depth, jump inside. You'll get to see what it's like on the inside. We'll be here to answer your questions. It's gonna be great. So be sure to come back for that.
Right.
No Sock Friday.
No Sock Friday.
All right. Love you guys. We'll see you Friday.
Bye.